Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Superstar SEO webinar. My name is Chris Walker. I'll be your host this evening. And again, I sound like a game show host, so I'm going to have to work on that opening. So let's just jump right on in. You got the picture of the big unicorn there. So let me just give you an idea of what you're here in case you're wondering what this webinar is going to be about. So by the end of this webinar, what you will learn is a secret to find an easy way to rank for high-end niches that other marketers and other SEOs are ignoring, thus giving you the opportunity to take advantage of them. I'm going to show you an easy way to monetize those niches to start making a profitable local business using video. I'm going to give you a chance to get for the exact A to Z blueprint to launch a passive business using the techniques that I'm going to show you here tonight. And I'm going to do a live example. This went really well on this afternoon's webinar, so hopefully we can equal that success. So if you have any questions, do me a favor and save those to the end. It's kind of distracting to try to read the questions and not interrupt my train of thought. But anyway, if you're here, you probably already know who I am, but I figured I'd touch on it just in case. My name is Chris Walker. I'm the founder of a successful SEO agency, Superstar SEO. I am the all-time leading Conquer seller in terms of number of gigs and services sold. I really try not to call them gigs, but it's the familiar term for everybody. I'm a video SEO expert. I've been asked by numerous people, industry leaders, to help them with their video rankings and their video SEO. And I've been featured by SourceWave SEO, OMG Machines, SERP.com, and some others. And I look absolutely ridiculous in this picture, so I figured I'd poke a little bit of fun at myself. So that's enough about me. So let's get right into it. So first of all, I'm going to be talking a lot about high-end niches. So what do I mean by a high-end niche? A high-end niche is a niche, or let's call it an industry. I'm used to using the term niche, but let's say industry with an expensive product. By expensive is obviously in the eye of the beholder, but what I mean is something that people are going to pay what they perceive to be a lot of money. So for example, water damage repair or roofing or something like that, where you're not just paying $10 or $12 like you would at a pizza shop or something. You're actually paying out some real important money. And then the businesses in the industry offer a product or service that the customer must have. So just because it's expensive doesn't mean it's high end, at least not in the way I'm defining it here. What I mean by that is somebody might want to get a Jaguar. That's an expensive thing, but it's not something that people need. I'm talking about things that people need. So when somebody searches for emergency flood damage repair, that's something that they have to have right away. They're not looking to shop. They're looking to they have a problem, they're in a pain state, and they're looking for someone that can fix that problem for them and take them out of that pain state. And our jobs as marketers is to connect those people with the people that can fix the problem for them. So how do we go about finding a high-end niche? I'm just going to stick with niche. I'm never going to get used to calling it an industry. So think about circumstances that would lead someone to a high-end business. For example, I live in an area, maybe a mile or two from the beach, and the whole stretch of this area is called the Grand Strand. And every year we have hurricanes come through here. Some are worse than others. Last year we had a really nasty one in Hurricane Matthew. And that leads to a lot of damage, a lot of roof damage, a lot of water damage, and so on. So that means there are going to be people looking, after those things happen, looking for businesses to fix the issues that have developed for them as a result of that hurricane. So the reason I bring this up is that if somebody were to look up city hurricane damage repair in like Google Keyword Planner or whatever people use for keyword research these days, they're going to find that it has very little search volume, and they're going to say, well, that's not a good keyword to go after. Well, you're wrong if you think that, because there are going to be people looking for it, and they're willing to spend a lot of money. And conversely, since it is lower competition in terms of marketers that are going to ignore it, it gives us an opportunity to exploit that and get ranked for that term. And then when those people do need that service, they're willing to shell out for it. And that way we can connect those people with the problem to the businesses with the solution. So basically we're the middleman, and we're bringing people together. And like I just said, are people searching and they're ready to buy. If somebody's looking for a high-end car, like I mentioned in the last slide, they may not be ready to buy. They may just be a hobbyist or just looking. But if somebody searches for something like hurricane damage repair, that means they have a problem and they need someone to fix it. So you want to put yourself in the mindset of the person searching, as opposed to just looking at the data and looking at the search volume and so on. I kind of touched on this already. The amount of search volume that Google Keyword Planner or SEMrush or whatever tool that people are using doesn't matter. Like, it's more about the type of person searching than it is the volume of people searching. I would rather have 5 people that are ready to buy find my business than 5,000 people that have no interest in it find it. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. And again, the intent and the urgency of the searcher matters. So if their intention is to find someone that can repair their house or fix their roof or fix a pipe that's broken or whatever, that's an intent to buy. And that's somebody that you want to be in front of. You don't want to be in front of someone who's searching just for, I don't know, maybe they happen to be searching for something else and came across it or whatever. You want someone that's ready to buy. And even if there's less of them, they're more valuable. So your goal should be to get in front of those people that are ready to buy. So does that all make sense so far? Give me one if that makes sense. If I need to go over anything a little further. Great. So how do we take advantage of these niches? Well, the first is to use video. Video really connects well with people in my experience, and there's data to back that up. It's more personal and it converts better in my experience because it keeps people engaged, and it makes them feel like they're actually talking to someone, and that's very powerful. The other good part about video is that it's much easier to get a ranking out of in Google. So if you want to get a website, you got to build out the site and then add some content and so on, build links, and it takes longer and it's more work and it's more expensive. The other good thing about taking advantage of this niches are, like I said, a lot of marketers they don't think critically. They look at their tools and they see, excuse me, they look at their tools and they see no search volume, so they just pass on it and go to the same old niches that every SEO and their mother searches for, like city dentist, city lawyer, I don't know, I can't think of any other off the top of my head, but the same ones that get hit with SEO offers all day long. So if we think outside the box a little bit, we can take advantage of their short-sightedness and end up finding a way to make us some money and connect people that have a problem with people that have a solution. So not only are you putting yourself in a position to make money, you're really benefiting people, which maybe it's not important to everyone, but to me that's very important. So like I said, it's easy rankings too to get in front of potential customers. So that's the first part of that. Let's go and do a live example. Now, like I said, this worked really well this afternoon when we did this, so hopefully we can go 2 for 2 today. So let me pause my screen for just a second. All right, so we're here at YouTube, and we're going to continue our hurricane damage repair example that we were using before. And the reason I use that one is because it's familiar to me, and that's a good way to think about when you're thinking, what are some keywords I can go after? Think about things that are familiar to you. Suppose you live in Alaska. It's probably really important to you that your heater works most of the year round. Maybe I'm stereotyping, I don't know. I always think of it being very cold there. So what you want to do is think about things that could be benefit. Anyway, let's jump into our example. We're going to upload. We're in my YouTube channel here. And earlier we did Garden City hurricane damage repair, and we got an instant page 1. In fact, number 1. So let's see if lightning can strike twice. Copy that. What I like to do is put this in the description 2 or 3 times. Litchfield, by the way, is a city that's maybe 20 minutes from me, and it really, as you're going to see here in a minute, really gets hammered when we get a hurricane around here. So set up a little bit more of the on page. I'm going to look for Litchfield, South Carolina. Do I sound like I have a South Carolina accent? Every time I hear myself say South Carolina, I feel like I'm saying it with an accent. And you see how close that is to the ocean? That's why this is a good thing to go after for hurricane damage repair. English, and then the recording date. And by this point, it should be almost done. But basically what we're doing here is we're picking a term that once a year or twice a year is going to be in really high demand. The rest of the year, maybe not so much. So the good news is that people will leave it alone. And once we get our video ranked, it'll most likely stick there, and it won't be the target of you won't have to fight off a lot of other SEOs. Not that we're not good enough at SEO to fight them off anyway, but why would you go? Why put yourself through that, right? So let's publish. And let's go grab our URL. Hopefully this doesn't index right away so I can show the same trick that I showed earlier. All right, copy the link address. Okay, it's not indexed right away, which is good. Let me show you this off. So this is a trick I've discovered recently to help you get things indexed, is to go... Somebody earlier told me I type really loudly, so sorry about that. Search. And what this does is if it searches a website or a URL to tell you if it's mobile optimized. It's an actual Google tool. We'll paste. We'll run the test. I don't know how I stumbled across this, but I find it's been working really well for me. You see, and it finds the channel, it finds the URL, and it scanned it and says it's mobile friendly, and then we can do submit to Google, which, as far as I can tell, is the same thing as submitting it to the Search Console. So hopefully it's indexed by now. Otherwise, we're gonna have to wait a moment. Let's see what we got. All right, index. See how quickly that worked? Isn't that awesome? All right, so let's see if this ranked for us. Incognito window. And search that term. And look at that, number 1. And just if you want to take a quick scan of this page, you can see why this is a valuable term. I mean, look at some of the things that happened from Hurricane Matthew last year. It was a pretty nasty storm, one of the worst we've had in years. My point is that we got a number 1 term for something that people are going to need, most likely. I mean, hopefully not. I don't want to give the impression that I'm hoping that there will be hurricane damage, but now we can get in front of them. We would just find a business down here. Looks like that's mostly news. Now, here we go. North Face Construction. We can just call them, ask them if they'd like us to put their phone number on the number 1 ranking. And then when people see that, they'll call and they'll get some business off of it. I like to think of this as a billboard. So when you're driving down the street and you see a billboard and for a restaurant or something, that's a good way to drive you into that restaurant, right? It gets in front of a lot of people and it's not targeted, but it's there. So here you're driving down Litchfield Hurricane Damage Repair Lane and you see a billboard for Litchfield Hurricane Damage Repair Company. You're like, hey, I need some hurricane damage repair. And then we'll look at their number and we'll call them. It's not a great analogy, but I think it makes a little bit of sense. And got a question over here. I'll get to that at the end. So we're going to come back into our presentation. So I'm going to pause the screen one more time. Sorry about that, guys. I'm having a bit of a Microsoft PowerPoint's locking up on me here, because why wouldn't that happen? All right, we're back, and that was our live example. So basically, someone asked, how much would you charge a business like that? The easy answer, of course, is however much you can get them. But I like to go with an approach like that, where you can rent it to them like monthly. You can get maybe a term like that. You can't really justify a high amount like you could for like a rehab center or something, but you could probably get anywhere from $20 to $100, depending on how good of a salesperson you are. $20 to $100 a month. Hopefully that answers your question. So that was just one example and one way of finding niches. That's really the key to all of this, is finding good, high quality, high end niches that you can sell people on, and then ranking the video and calling them and selling it to them. So if you want to learn more about that, you can learn how to find more high end niches to sell to, like more approaches to find them. I can help you with setting up your local video marketing business. So you don't want to treat, that's just something that the people don't get right a lot. They'll just like start a personal YouTube channel, and I'm guilty of this too, and just start throwing videos up there and then calling business and saying, hey, you want to rent this? But it's not going to work, because You don't want, you don't want your business videos that you're trying to talk to business about on the same channel as like your kids playing or your cat or whatever else you're into. You know, the latest Justin Bieber video, whatever it is that you like. You know, maybe if you're really into crocheting, you'd have a video about that on there. That was for someone in particular there. And then we're going to show you how to find, once you get your video ranked, I can show you how to find potential customers. So meaning you might be thinking, I've got this ranking, great, now what? What do I just open the yellow pages? And no, there's a strategy to it and ways to go about it to find people that are most likely to be interested in what you got to sell them. Then I'll show you my exact process for ranking these videos. Now, I just showed you one that went up really quickly. That's because it was super non-competitive, and sometimes it will just be that easy. And imagine it took me, 2-3 minutes tops, and that was with explaining it. Imagine how many of those you could do in a day. But some of them are going to be more difficult and require a little more pop in order to get them to rank. And like I have my channel set up pretty optimally for these things too. So I'm going to show you the exact A to Z process I use to rank videos. Now, let me be clear about one thing, is this isn't how to rank any video. This isn't for like Garcinia Cambogia review or how to lose weight or anything like that. This isn't a comprehensive video ranking course. It's showing you how to rank easy to medium competition local terms in order to get in front of businesses to sell them. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. And I'll show you the exact tools I use and demo some of them and how to set up some of them. Some of them are pretty straightforward, but others I use in a certain way. So I can demo some of those for you. And then there's other ways to make money with it. Like some people don't like selling. I don't like selling. Like I don't like cold calling and doing all the things you have to do to get in front of businesses. And I get that. I know it's not for everybody. It's not for most people in my experience, even people that are really effective salespeople. So there are other ways to go about renting these videos out to people, not renting these videos out to people, but to make money from the videos that you're going to be ranking and getting. And then I'm also going to, I guess I skipped over this one, I'm going to show you how to get videos created cheaply. For whatever reason, whenever I talk to people about this type of business model, they get really hung up on what should the video be. And there are a few different things you want, different types of video you want, but it's not as complicated as people want to make it for some reason. But I do show you several different ways to get cheap videos made or just buy them or whatever. And then there's more. There's just some other things that as they occur to me, I'll be adding to it, and I'll always be available for questions and things like that. So what would that be worth to you? To find, I thought about doing these as separate courses, but I decided it would be a more effective way to communicate what I'm trying to help everyone with if I was to put it all into one. But when I was thinking about that, I would have put together how to find the high-end niches. I would have made that a $47 course, or maybe like a WSO or something like that. Courses, kind of a generic term. Setting up your business, this is really the key. You want to set up a channel that looks good. You want to position yourself as a business. I think it's important to have a business website. You know, it doesn't have to be anything flashy. Just you want to establish yourself as a business, and we go into that in a little bit of depth and how to set it up and how to present yourself as a business, as opposed to just somebody who knows how to upload a video. Then how to find potential customers, that's going to be a $67 value. This is something that people really get tripped up on. They don't think of different ways. They just want to just start calling or whatever. Like for whatever reason, people really struggle with finding leads. So I'm going to show you a couple of different ways I go about finding leads. That's a $67 value. How to get videos created cheaply. I just talked about that a little bit. I struggled with that too. I ended up spending like several $100s, about $300, getting videos made, and a lot of them sucked. So I'll show you some different places that you can find those. And I don't have this in there just yet, but I'll actually put specific recommendations in there as well. So somebody remind me about that. I know you will. So I appreciate that. One example before I move on to the next bullet is I remember I got this one whiteboard video made, and they spelled my name wrong, like my personal name, Chris. They spelled K-R-I-S, and I explained it to them beforehand, and they got it wrong. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I couldn't get a refund, so that was like $70 down the drain right there. And then I'll show you my exact process for ranking these videos. Like I said, video SEO is kind of my thing. I've worked with some pretty big names on it, and I know it pretty well. So I'm going to show you my exact process for ranking these kinds of videos. And again, I want to throw out a disclaimer. This isn't a complete comprehensive how to rank videos course. That's not what we're here for. What we're here for is to set up a nice passive income business. And I say passive, I mean, once you get it in place, it's money that'll just keep coming in. So I'll show you the exact process I use to get those ranked, and I'll train you on some of the tools I use and how to do that. Those cost about $200 a month. And so but you don't want to spend months, setting them up and learning them, and because some of them are kind of quirky. So if we add all that up, $47, $297, $67, another $297, $97, $200, it comes out to about $1,000, $1,005. I really wish that would have ended at $7 so I could have been consistent. Anyway, I'm not going to charge $1,000 because that's absolutely absurd for this kind of information, in my opinion. And I wouldn't feel right about it. So we're not going to charge $1,000. I'm also not going to charge $197 because I understand that a lot of us are just getting started, and maybe that would still be a big hit to your budget. I know it wasn't very long ago that would have been for me. So I'm not going to charge that either. And I'm not even going to charge $97 because, again, I know you may not believe me, but I just really want to help people get started and start making some money online so they can enjoy some of the things that I've been fortunate enough to enjoy. So I'm not going to charge $97 for that either. So if you want to jump in, although fair warning, I am going to, after this week, up it to $97 just to make up for my time that I have to spend like maintaining it and paying for the software and things like that. So, but if you want to grab it and jump on it today, it's going to be one payment of $67 just for the whole course. The one-time payment, I'll keep it updated as needed. Like, it's not something that it's going to be every month or anything like that, but as new developments or if I learn new techniques, it'll be it'll get added. You'll never have to pay anything more than that $167. Now, before I give you a link to it, let's think about what $67 really means. It means you could go to dinner at Outback. As a matter of fact, after this afternoon's webinar, I didn't go to Outback. I actually went out with my mother for dinner to Red Lobster, and it came to about $70. So you can go out and have a somewhat nice of a dinner, and instead of paying for the course, I don't know why I chose Outback. I went there recently too. The Bloomin' Onion is nice, but if you get a Bloomin' Onion in a dinner, that's your $67 right there. You can go buy Tekken 7, which comes out tomorrow. A lot of people are into video games. That, according to my research, is going to be about $60, and then after tax, I'm sure it's going to be, I don't know, 70 or so, depending on the tax rate where you live. So you can play that for 20, 30 hours, and then be done with it. And that $67 isn't going to come back. But maybe you enjoy getting a video game on the day it's released. I actually used to love video games. I don't really have time for them anymore, but that's just an aside. It's kind of funny from the guy that started this off with a Transformers cartoon. Anyway, or you can buy half a pair of sunglasses. I use this specific example for a very personal reason. As a kid, I always wanted a pair of these because that was popular in the 80s when I was a kid. And my mom, who rightfully said that an 8-year-old didn't need a $200 pair of sunglasses. Well, for whatever reason, yesterday I was thinking about that, and I was like, maybe I can splurge on these, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it because it still came out to about $200 after shipping. But the way I finally justified it to myself was that I can wear them in a video and use them as a tax write-off. But for $67, you couldn't even buy the whole thing. You could only get half of it. So I was kind of excited to be able to incorporate that. So that you can't get half a pair of sunglasses. What you can get is a course that will teach you some skills that will almost definitely pay off the $67 investment. If you go through it in a couple of days, put up a video and rent it or sell it or use one of the other methods I show you to make money with it, you're going to pay it off instantly. So to me, it's an easy decision. Maybe it's not to you, but I think it's justified. I think it's a good idea. So if you want to check this out, if you want to pick it up, I hope you will. I hope you'll appreciate it. You can go to superstarseo.com/LVM, Local Video Mastery, and you'll be able to check out right from there. If for some reason that you absolutely have to pay with PayPal, just drop me a note in the chat box there, because I have a different link I have to send you to. For whatever reason, the membership site doesn't work that well with PayPal, so I'll have a different link for you too. But hopefully it'll be something you see the value in. Hopefully you learned a little something here tonight. Before we get into Q&A, I do want to mention a couple of other things. And that is, there are a couple of, and the reason I'm going to mention it here, and even though every thing I've read about doing webinars says that you should just leave it, but there are a couple of extra offers that come on top of it after you check out on this. And that is the Local Video Mastery Elite program. And now what that's going to do is going to give you everything that the main course gives you, but it's also going to give you 4 live Q&A webinars where I'll jump on a webinar similar to this with everyone, answer any questions, help you get going. Maybe you're struggling with ranking or selling or finding customers or whatever it is. We'll sit over the course of a month. We'll sit down together. Well, not literally sit down, but we'll jump on a webinar together, and I'll answer whatever questions and help you to the best of my ability. You'll get a recording of an actual live sales call. I haven't put this in the members area yet, but I've sold several of these this week, and I'm trying to figure out which the best one or ones to put in there is. So we'll put an actual recording of me on the phone with someone trying to close them on a deal and hopefully being successful. And then I'm still putting these together, but I'm going to put in scripts that I use. Well, I don't use a script. I kind of just have my way, but I'll show you the approaches that I use and kind of fill in the blank format. So it'll be like, client name here, your name here, and basically what I do, and walk you through the sales process. And then you'll get access to a private Facebook mastermind just for Local Video Marketing Mastery Elite members. So if you want to talk to other people that are going through this, help them, help you, help whatever. It's great to have a community. And anybody who's in any of my Facebook groups know that I'm very active and I answer questions really rapidly if I can. So I think it'll be a good benefit for you. So that will be, and this is a separate payment. There was some confusion about that earlier. This is a separate payment of $97. So just to cover my time and the effort that it takes to set all of that up. And then one more thing is you can do a one-on-one. You'll get 2 one-on-one. For the final offer, it's 2 hour-long one-on-one private coaching sessions with me. That's me there again, looking absolutely ridiculous. At my old job, by the way. Funny thing there. That shows you how old that picture is. That's me in my office at my old 9 to 5. You can see how productive I was being. Anyway, that we'll jump on a phone call or a Skype call or something like that, and I'll just answer whatever you got, like whatever questions you have. I'll be there for you, and we can work it out, and we'll get your business going. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be about this particular course. It can be your SEO business in general, anything, anything I can help you with, I'll do my best to help you with. So that would be a one payment of $197. And normally I usually charge $200 an hour. So basically you're getting a free session out of me for that. So that'll show up as an upsell after you purchase the second offer. So that's about all I got for you. If you want, I can go back and recap really quick, or we can just go ahead and jump into some questions. Let me grab a drink of water. Go ahead and stick any questions you have in the box there. This question box is really small. I don't know how to make it bigger. Someone said, can you rent the videos to several cities? I'm guessing you mean the same video to... If you mean the same exact upload, I suppose you could. Like if you live in an area where, like I live in Myrtle Beach, the city right up from me is North Myrtle Beach. So I'm guessing that if that business serviced both areas, you could try and call them and say, I have the number one for Myrtle Beach and you're a North Myrtle Beach business. So you'd still get some calls off of it. If that's what you meant, then yes. If not, if I misunderstood the question, just post it again. Can you rent the same animation on multiple cities' businesses? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Can you rent the same animation on multiple cities' business? Yeah, if you could just rephrase that. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. It seems kind of like the same as the last question. Will that video you just rank stick? Yes, that's one of the advantages to the way we go about it, is that is that the videos stick a lot longer than some of the tricks and hacks and stuff that people do. In fact, just to back that up for you, one of the ones that I'm kind of famous for, that's been shown on some big webinars, is, hopefully it's still there, yeah, Pawleys Island water damage repair. And you can tell if you go into this, now this isn't a very good video, but that was back in February. And then I have some others that have been around since November. And I'm amused every time I talk about this in public, I get more people trying to take me down. No one ever does. But yeah, to answer your question, yes, it sticks. And as far as this big thumbnail, because I know somebody out there is wondering, I have no idea how that happens. I wish I could make it do that. It seems to just happen randomly, but yeah. So that answers that. Yes, usually they will stick. Sometimes they're going to drop, but that's when you start building some links and you get it right back up there. Tug on it. Thanks, Jim. Are embeds or backlinking more important for ranking on the first page? I don't think one is more important than the other. I use a combination of both, and that's actually covered in the course. But I don't know. If I had a gun to my head, if I had to pick one thing, I would say that linking is actually more important. I think that the value of embeds has been overstated. So that's just my opinion. But I really wish I knew how to make this question box bigger. If anybody knows anything about GoToWebinar and they know how to make the question box bigger, please, by all means. How is it you can get Google to make a huge thumbnail like that? Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know. It happens completely randomly. See, Asim says, target country or city in your great webinar. Do you usually target country or city in your keyword? I've never done a national level one, but I don't see why you couldn't. Let me bring this back over here just to keep the link up there in case anybody's still wanting to sign up. But yeah, that's a good question. I suppose you could. I don't know why you couldn't go for top rated. I don't know. I can't think of a good example off the top of my head. The same principles apply. It might be harder. It might be easier because, again, not that many people I know of go for national keywords. So hopefully that answers your question. Detach the window to make chat box bigger. I'm not sure how to do that. Oh, I see. Oh, wow. Thank you. Whoever that was. That's such a big help. James Ranking. If that's your real name, that's awesome that you're in this career. Link in question box. Oh, thank you, Jim. Yeah, if it's easier for you, I'm going to go ahead and put the link to the course right here in the box for you so you can just jump on over to it. There's my loud typing again. So you should be able to see that. Wow, man, this is so much easier. Got any more questions for me, guys? It seems like it's starting to die down a bit. I know it's getting kind of late. Well, maybe not. Maybe I'm just getting old. I don't know. So let's go ahead and just walk back through it real quick in case there's, you guys load up any more questions you have. So basically what you're going to get, where is it? I'm going to show you how to find more high-end niches to sell to. Again, I gave you one kind of I don't really feel like I went into a lot of detail with it tonight, but I gave you a way. Basically, you want to change your thinking in a way that you're not just going by the statistics and the numbers and what have you. I'm going to show you how to go about setting up your local video marketing business. So you're not just a guy throwing videos on a channel and telling businesses to pay you for it. You want to look like a real business. I'm going to show you how to find potential customers. If you can rank a video, it doesn't do you much good if you can't sell it. As another SEO coach that I know likes to say, ranking does not necessarily mean banking. I'm going to show you my exact process for ranking these videos. And again, that's not how to rank any video for anything. It's just how I rank these particular videos. You saw one example tonight, but there is a bit more of a process to it. I'm going to show you the tools that I use. This, again, not every tool available, but it's the ones I use and the ones I like and the way I use them. I'm going to show you other ways to make money with local videos and more information as it comes along. And then if you want to get the elite package, where is it? You'll also get 4 live Q&A webinars. So kind of like we're doing right now, but we'll go into more depth and hopefully you will have tried some things and maybe you faced some issues or got some setbacks or whatever. I'm going to record an actual live sales call, and that way you can actually hear how I go about it. And that kind of ties in with number 3, which I'll upload. I'll create some scripts that you can kind of use them and adapt them to your personality. You can absolutely use it word for word, but I find that it's best to use something like that as a guideline and not just repeat what's written on the page because it comes off as robotic. And then access to a private Facebook mastermind for everybody else that signs up for it. That way, I don't know. I think teamwork makes the dream work. So it's good to help one another to help get through any issues you have. And you can always sign up for the private coaching, and I'll help you with whatever you can in your business for a couple of hours for the price of one, basically 2 for the price of 1. So that's where that is. That's the link to get to it. Let's see if we got any more questions. We, of course, cover the keyword research part in addition to the on-page video tactics. Yes, there's already one video in there on keyword research, and obviously if there's more questions and stuff afterwards, after you've checked out that video, obviously I'll add to it. But yes, there is a keyword research video. Is there a dollar range that these videos generate per month? Is there a minimum income that makes it worthwhile? Yeah, that's actually a good question. That's one of the things you want to think about too, is I'm trying to be politically correct. You definitely, it's not to say you don't want to target a lower income area, but a lot of times it's not going to be ideal. So I try to go with areas I know, or I do a little bit of research and find out if there's money to be spent there. I don't want to give an exact number because then people will take that as like, the gospel or whatever. But yeah, you want to think about how much the money the people in that area have to spend. Like in the course, I use Pawleys Island as an example, and that's a city. It's about 45 minutes from here, and it's also right in the hurricane zone, but it's also really, I don't say really wealthy, but it's a good the average income is a good 25% above the national average. So I target a lot of businesses there. So yeah, basically to answer your question, yeah, the better the income in the area, the better it is. I don't know. I don't want to say there's not necessarily a minimum, but I don't know. You just have to think in terms of it. If there's not a lot of business. So for instance, if there's only one roofing company, it may be worth targeting, but if they say no, or if they say if they cancel, then you can't really use that particular video for anything else. So hopefully that answers your question. All right, guys, anything else? My voice is starting to go, so if you got any more questions, go ahead and jam them in there. What type of income do you expect a video to generate per month? Like for the client, you can't really break it down per month. I mean, you can. It just, I really can't. It really just depends. Like, so in the hurricane damage example I gave, obviously January through, I don't know, May or June, none. But if it generates a couple of leads for $10,000 jobs during hurricane season, then a lot. So I know that's a frustrating answer. I hate when people just say it depends, but it really does just depend. So it does. If, by the way, if you want to jump in and you absolutely need to use PayPal, let me know. I have to give you a special link for that. So if you need PayPal, I'll just go ahead and stick that link in there. Where is it? So if you can, try to use the other link I sent you, but if you absolutely have to use PayPal, then you can use this link. And I know PayPal is more convenient, so. Do you use CallRail when renting the vid? You can use, there's 2 different methods that I show in the training. I don't use CallRail. I use either Callfire or Twilio, however you pronounce it. And you can do that and do it on a pay-per-lead model. So basically you get that tracking number. It forwards that number over to the business. And then at the end of the month, you look at how many leads you sent them, and you get paid X number of dollars for however many leads you get them. Or you can just put their information on it, excuse me, and just rent it out at a flat rate. That's something you kind of have to think about when you're prospecting your client. Like in the hurricane damage repair, you're probably going to do better to get a flat monthly fee because you're not going to get that many most of the year. But with some different niches, you might, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Some other niches where it's going to generate a lot of leads every month or several leads every month, then it's better to get like a pay-per-lead model and use something like Callfire or Twilio, or what was the one you suggested? CallRail, and so on. Hopefully that answers your question. Have you ever put up videos and have businesses call you to rent it out? Yes. It doesn't happen that much, but when you put one up and you're unsuccessful with selling it right away, what I like to do, and you've probably seen it, actually it was in the Pawleys Highland one that I did. I'm not going to go search that again, but see the call the number to rent this below. Doesn't happen that often, but you may as well have that there while it's not being rented. So the answer to that, yes, sometimes. It's rare. I mean, who goes looking for, I wonder if I can advertise on Google or whatever, you know what I mean? But it's better than nothing if you haven't got any success in getting to sell it. Have you ever put up videos? I need PayPal, thanks. Maria, I stuck that link in there. Hopefully you saw that okay. You have okay. Yeah, you're welcome, James. And bring up the presentation again. So just the link is either superstarseo.com/LVM, or if you need to pay with PayPal, it's superstar.com/pay-with-PayPal. And I've stuck both of those in the chat box for you if that makes it any easier on you. Any other questions, guys? So let me know, did you find this to be useful? I mean, even if you decide not to jump in, did you get anything out of this? Will you be able to use anything that you found tonight? Do I need to adjust this? Is there anything I should have covered that I didn't? That's good. People are saying yes. Great. This is going to sound a little cheesy, but I really do like to help people. You're welcome, Mason. That means a lot. I'm glad you were here. I'm glad you were able to make it. You came here for the introduction. You did a fantastic job. Well, thanks a lot, guys. I really do appreciate it. I really do like to help people. I know that every marketer says that, but to me, it's very important. It's part of what I believe and what I do. So unless there's any more questions, I'm going to go ahead and close this out. Again, the link is superstarseo.com/LVM. I genuinely appreciate everybody being here. I think it went pretty well. If you have any questions, I'll see you in the group. So I'm going to leave the screen up for a few more minutes, and that's about all I got for you. Have a great night, guys. Thanks a lot.